Last week, one of the Discord members reached out with a video request for a navigation menu from a website that actually just got featured as Site of the Day on Awards on March 16th. When I checked it out, I was genuinely impressed with the menu concept. You have probably seen this kind of drawer style navigation on a bunch of other modern sites too, each with their own little twist on it. And even though it looks fairly simple on the surface, I think these kinds of elements are worth breaking down every now and then because they show up constantly on award-winning sites and they really do a lot to elevate the overall feel of an experience. So following the request, I went ahead and built my own version of the same effect using just the basics of GSAP timeline and some very fundamental JavaScript. And honestly, I think it's a good time to start covering more of these kinds of builds on the channel, shorter, more focused guides that still walk you through genuinely useful animations, enough to help you learn fundamental GSAP through a quick, practical walkthrough. Because looking at the engagement on individual videos, I don't think many folks are sitting through long coding videos anymore, and I also don't think a full course is something that's going to get consumed much either, given where things are right now. So this felt like the right direction. If you'd like to access the source code for this project, along with hundreds of other similar micro projects and a brand new website template every month, you can check out the Pro membership via the link in the description. And if you find my work helpful, make sure you leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Alright, let's get into the code. Let's start with the HTML. First, we'll set up the nav element. Inside it, we just need two things, a logo and a toggler button. Inside the logo, I'll just paste in a linked image, and for the toggler button, I'll add two span elements. These two span elements will act as the hamburger lines, and later we'll transform them into a close icon using CSS when the menu is open. Next, let's get to the menu content itself. I'll add a div with the class name navContent, and this is where everything related to the menu lives. Inside it, first we need the colorful blocks that animate the reveal, so I'll add 4 divs, each with the class name navBackground. Then, after those, we add the actual content inside the menu. I'll create a div with the class name navItems, and inside it, we'll follow simple 2-column layout using 2 navItems called divs. Inside the first column, I'll paste in 2 blocks of links, one for socials and one for legal links. And in the second column, I'll paste in the primary navigation links and the secondary links. Finally, just to make sure the page doesn't look completely empty, behind the menu, I'll add a hero section at the end. We'll apply background image to this section later. And that's it for the HTML. Let's get to the styling. First, I'm importing the typeface, which is what we'll use across the entire layout. Then, I'll paste in the base resets and body styles, just removing default spacing, setting border box sizing, applying the font, and giving the body a dark background. And for the hero section, I'm just making it full height with a cover background image so there is something visible behind the menu. Now the nav itself, I'm fixing it to the top of the page using flexbox to push the logo and toggler to opposite ends and giving it a z-index of 2 so it sits above the menu content. For the logo and toggler, just some basic sizing and padding. The toggler gets its default styles stripped and the 2 spans inside it are styled as white thin lines with a transition. Then when the menu is open and the toggler gets the open class, those 2 lines rotate and shift into an X shape using transforms. Now for the menu content container, nav content is positioned absolutely at the top, full width with pointer event set to none so it doesn't block anything when the menu is closed. And for the nav background divs, the 4 nav background divs are also positioned absolutely, each covering the full area but scaled to 0 on the y-axis from the top. That way, they are invisible by default and GSAP can scale them in one by one later. Each one gets a different background color to create that layered reveal effect. For nav items, this is the actual content panel. I am using Flexbox for the 2-column layout, giving it generous padding, a dark green background, and a clip path that starts fully collapsed. That clip path is what GSAP will animate to reveal the content. The 2 columns are sized using flex ratios. The first column is narrower for social and legal links. The second is wider for the primary and secondary navigation. Each link group just gets its own font size to create that visual hierarchy. Large primary links, medium for secondary, smaller for socials, and even smaller with a muted color for legal links. There is also a small rule on the line class inside links. This is what SplitText will generate later, and by default those lines are pushed down out of view with translate Y so they can animate in. And finally, a quick media query for smaller screens. The menu goes full height, stacks vertically, and the legal and secondary links get hidden to keep things clean on mobile. That covers the styling. Let's move on to the JavaScript. First, we import GSAP. Along with that, we also import the SplitText plugin from GSAP. And then we register SplitText so GSAP knows to use it. After that, we select the nav toggler from the DOM. This is the hamburger button the user will click to open and close the menu. And we also grab all the nav background elements. These are the layered panels that will scale up to reveal the menu. With those elements in place, we now set up two flags. The first one is menu open, set to false because the menu starts closed, and the second one is animating, also false, and this one will help us prevent the user from clicking while an animation is still running. Now that we have our elements and our state ready, we create the main GSAP timeline. We set paused to true here because we don't want this timeline to play on its own. We want full control over when it plays and when it reverses. Then we add an onComplete callback. This fires when the full opening animation finishes. All it does is set is animating back to false, so the button becomes clickable again. And along with that, we add onReverseComplete callback, which fires when the closing animation finishes. Inside here, we reset all the link lines back to Y100%, so they are hidden and ready for the next time when we open the menu. And we also set is animating back to false again. With the timeline created, we now add a click event listener to the nav toggler. First thing inside, we check if is animating is true. If it is, we return early and completely ignore the click. This is what prevents the user from spamming the button mid-animation. If we are good to go, we set is animating to true to lock out any further clicks. Then we toggle the open class on the nav toggler. This handles the visual switch from hamburger to X icon. After that, we check if his menu is false. If the menu isn't open, we play the timeline forward and also call animateLinksIn function to bring the text links in. If the menu is already open, we just reverse the timeline to close everything back up. And at the end, we flip this menu open flag to reflect the new state. So at this point, the click logic is fully wired up, but the timeline itself is still empty. So now we start adding the actual animations to it. The first animation targets the nav background panels. We are animating scale Y to 1, which means these panels start scaled down to 0 on the Y axis and expand upward to fill the screen. The stagger of 0.1 means each panel starts slightly after the one before it, giving that layered cut-in reveal effect. The power 3 easing gives it a smooth acceleration and deceleration. Then, while the backgrounds are still animating, we start revealing the nav items container. We are using a clip path animation here, going from a fully clipped state to the full rectangle, which makes the content fully visible. The duration and ease match the background panels, so everything feels connected. Now, before we can animate the individual links, we need to prepare them. So we use SplitText to split all the anchor tags inside the nav items into individual lines. The type lines tells SplitText to split by lines, and mask lines wraps each line in a container that acts as a clip mask. This is what allows us to slide the text up from below and have it stay hidden until it enters the visible area. The lines class gives each split line a class name we can target in our animations. With the text split and ready, we now create an array called link blocks. This groups our nav links into 3 separate categories. The first group combines the social links and legal links together. The second group is the primary navigation links, and the third is the secondary navigation links. We are grouping them this way because we want each group to animate in separately, so the stagger cascades within each group independently rather than across all links as one flat list. And finally, we define the animateLinksIn function, which is what actually brings those links into view. Inside it, we loop through each group in our link blocks array. For each group, we run a from to animation. The from value sets Y to 100%, which pushes every line completely below its mask container, so it's invisible. The to value animates Y to 0%, which slides it up into its natural visible position. The stagger of 0.05 creates that cascading effect where each line slides up one after another. And the delay of 0.85 seconds makes sure the links don't start appearing until the background panels and clip path reveal are well underway. This way, everything flows in a sequence without overlapping awkwardly. And with that, the full menu animation system is complete. Hope you found the video helpful. See you in the next one.